Taylor Swift in tears. The unthinkable words from Travis Kelce. It was a crisp autumn evening in New York City. Taylor Swift had just wrapped up a spectacular performance at Madison Square Garden. Fans cheered, and the energy was electric. As she stepped backstage, she couldn't wait to see Travis, who had flown in after a grueling football game to surprise her. There he was, waiting with a bouquet of her favorite flowers, sunflowers and white roses. His presence was always comforting, a grounding force in her whirlwind life. They embraced, and she whispered, "I can't believe you made it. This means everything to me." The couple headed to her penthouse for a quiet dinner. The city lights sparkled through the floor-to-ceiling windows, setting the mood. As they sat down to eat, Travis seemed unusually quiet. Taylor, ever intuitive, noticed immediately. "What's on your mind?" she asked softly, reaching for his hand. Travis hesitated, his usual confident demeanor replaced by an uncharacteristic vulnerability. He looked down at his plate, took a deep breath, and finally spoke. "Taylor, I need to be honest with you about something. I'm not sure I'm ready for all of this." Taylor blinked, her heart sinking. "All of what?" she asked, her voice trembling. "This, us, the spotlight, the constant attention. I love you, but I don't know if I can handle being Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's boyfriend, anymore." The words hit her like a freight train. Tears welled up in her eyes as she tried to process what he had just said. Was he breaking up with her? Was he overwhelmed by the pressure of dating one of the most famous women in the world? "But I thought we were in this together," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Travis reached out to wipe away a tear that escaped down her cheek. "We are. I feel like I'm losing myself in all of this. Everywhere I go, it's not about my career or who I am, it's about us. I need to find a way to balance this." Taylor stood up, her emotions overwhelming her. She walked to the window, staring out at the city that had seen her through so many ups and downs. The tears flowed freely now. "I never wanted to overshadow you, Travis," she said, turning to face him. "I love you for who you are. Not because you're an NFL star, but because you're you. If this is too much, I don't want you to feel trapped. But don't you think we can figure this out together?" Travis stood and walked over to her, his arms wrapping around her. "I'm sorry, Tay. I just needed to say it out loud. I don't want to lose you, but I needed you to know how I've been feeling." They stood there in silence, holding on to each other as the weight of the moment settled over them. Taylor knew their love was real, but she also understood that love in the spotlight came with its own set of challenges. As the night wore on, they talked, cried, and held each other. The path forward wasn't clear, but one thing was certain: they weren't ready to give up on each other just yet. Title: Tears of the Heart, ***. Taylor Swift sat on the edge of the plush couch in her dressing room, the soft lighting of the room casting a gentle glow on her face. Her latest performance had left her with a rush of excitement, yet a deep, gnawing feeling lingered in her chest. She stared at her phone screen, scrolling through headlines, images of her and Travis Kelce flashing across the screen. The world seemed fascinated by their relationship, captivated by every move they made. But something felt off tonight. A knock on the door interrupted her thoughts, and she stood up to open it, revealing Travis, his broad frame filling the doorway, his eyes tired but warm. "Hey, you okay?" he asked, stepping inside and closing the door behind him. Taylor forced a smile, masking the vulnerability she felt. "Yeah, just tired," she replied, trying to sound casual. But Travis could tell something was wrong. He moved closer, his hand gently brushing her arm. "Hey, talk to me. What's going on?" Taylor let out a shaky breath, her eyes suddenly welling up with tears. "It's just, everything feels so heavy right now. The pressure, the constant attention. I just feel like I'm losing myself in all of this. It's hard to breathe sometimes, Travis." Travis's brow furrowed in concern as he reached out to cup her face, his thumb gently brushing away the tear that slipped down her cheek. "Babe, I don't want you to feel like this. I know things are intense, but I'm here for you. You don't have to carry it all alone." But his next words hit her like a dagger. "I just think, maybe we need to take a step back. You need space. I need space. Maybe we should cool things off a little." Taylor's breath caught in her throat. Her heart dropped, and the tears she had been holding back fell freely. "What are you saying, Travis? Are you saying you don't want this anymore?" Travis stepped back, his face full of conflict. "No, that's not what I'm saying. I care about you. But this, us, it's been a whirlwind. I think we need to focus on ourselves for a while. I think I need to focus on my career, and you on yours." The words echoed in Taylor's mind, each one carving deeper into her heart. Her worst fear had just become a reality. The man she had let into her heart was asking for space, pulling away when she needed him the most. She couldn't stop the tears now, the weight of everything crashing down on her all at once. "I don't know if I can do this," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Travis stood still for a moment, his face stricken with regret, but his words were final. "I'm sorry, Tay. I think this is what's best for both of us." As he turned to leave, Taylor collapsed onto the couch, her sobs echoing in the quiet room. The person who had once made her feel like she could conquer anything now felt like a distant memory. She wiped her tears, feeling the raw sting of heartbreak, and wondered if love could ever be as easy as it seemed in the songs she wrote. But as the door clicked shut behind him, she realized that sometimes, even the strongest love stories end with tears. Title: The Words That Broke Her Heart, ***. It was a quiet evening in Kansas City, the calm before the storm of paparazzi and fans that always followed the high-profile couple. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were at his place, enjoying a rare moment of peace together. Taylor had just finished a video call with her mom and was resting her head against Travis's chest as they sat on the couch. They were surrounded by the soft glow of the fireplace, the crackling of the wood the only sound breaking the silence. "I've been thinking," Travis started, his voice low but steady, "about the future and what it might look like for both of us." Taylor smiled, slightly amused. "What do you mean, our future?" Travis nodded, his hand absent-mindedly tracing patterns on her arm. "Yeah, you know, we've been through a lot this year, and I think about us, Taylor. About how it's been a whirlwind, and as much as I care about you, I sometimes wonder if we're rushing into this too quickly." The words hit her like a sharp gust of wind, chilling her in a way she hadn't expected. Her smile faltered as she pulled back slightly to look at him. "What do you mean by rushing?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady, but she could hear the slight crack of vulnerability creeping in. "Don't get me wrong," Travis said quickly, sensing the shift in her expression. "I love what we have, and I love being with you. But I've always been someone who thinks long-term, and sometimes, I wonder if we're moving too fast, too publicly, you know? I'm just trying to process it all." Taylor's heart seemed to stop. She blinked, trying to fight back the tears that suddenly stung her eyes. The weight of his words pressed down on her chest. "Are you saying, you don't think this is going to work?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Travis reached out, but she instinctively pulled away. She couldn't quite put her finger on it, but something about the way he said it, so carefully measured, so uncertain, shattered her. It felt like he was pulling back from her, distancing himself in a way that made her question everything. "That's not what I'm saying," Travis hurried to explain. "I'm just trying to understand how we both fit in each other's worlds. It's complicated, Tay." The tears were already threatening to spill, and before she knew it, they were streaming down her face. She wiped at them angrily, but they kept coming. It wasn't just the words. It was the fact that he had questioned their connection when it felt so right to her. "Why are you saying this now, Travis? After everything we've been through?" She was shaking now, her voice trembling with emotion. "I thought we were on the same page." Travis looked stricken, his hand hovering in the air, unsure of how to comfort her. "I don't want to hurt you," he said softly, his tone filled with regret. "But I need to be honest with you. I don't want to wake up one day and regret not having said what's on my mind." Taylor took a deep breath, trying to calm herself, but the tears kept flowing. She wasn't sure what hurt more, his doubts or the realization that, perhaps, she had been the one moving too fast. She had been swept up in the romance, in the fairy tale, but now, in this quiet, vulnerable moment, she felt like everything was slipping through her fingers. "I don't know if I can handle this," she whispered. "If you're not sure about us, I can't keep pretending everything is perfect." Travis's face softened, his regret clear. "Tay, I'm not saying I'm not sure about us. I'm just saying I need time to figure things out. I care about you too much to rush it, or to let us burn out because of the pressure." The room was silent for a long moment, the weight of his words hanging between them. Taylor sat there, the tears drying on her cheeks, feeling a deep ache in her heart. She wanted to believe him, but a part of her was scared. Scared that this was the beginning of the end, that maybe they were never as perfect for each other as they seemed. Finally, Taylor spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "I need time too, Travis. I need to figure out if I can keep going like this, not knowing where we stand." Travis nodded, understanding the gravity of the moment. He knew he had hurt her, but he also knew he needed to sort through his own feelings. "Take all the time you need. I'll be here." But as Taylor walked out of his apartment later that evening, her heart was heavy with doubt, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the love story they had been writing together might not be the one they would finish.